The next morning had revealed more about Spectre with a note he had left behind at my dining room table, written in the same red ink. What he had written had warmed my heart and incited tears of sympathy as well as being deeply moved. Leslie had been concerned, and I read the following message out loud.
I have taken over Lenore's body to explain myself better. First of all, my name is Arthur van Schneem, and I have died in the year 1934. I had been an aristocrat and had immigrated from Germany at the age of 7 years old. I have earned some company during the Great Depression. Friends and family did not stay very long in my lifetime. I had died at the age of 24. Apparently, a rival in love deemed it necessary to take my life, and I have sworn off lovers to protect my heart in the afterlife. From that time, I have wandered from home to help, or punish, people I have fancied. There have been people who have stirred my heart, but I refrain myself. In the present day, I have met Lenore, who happened to share the same name and appearance of my beloved in my lifetime. Their personalities differ from a few degrees. I have first espied her while she had been crossing the street to the gas station. It had been peculiar how she had worn pastel colors with black, yet hearing her sing about diamonds, setting people on fire, and waltzing with devils had intrigued me. Her siren songs happened to beckon upon my ears. When she arrived at the gas station, and her colleagues called her Lenore, my metaphorical heart had been aflutter. I decided to observe the young girl for a time. It disturbed me to see how melancholic she had been. I had been eavesdropping upon her telephone conversations and the telegraphic messages from her device. The poor darling had tyrannical and embellic parents. They had belittled her and threatened physical punishment from afar, which led her to having a hermetic lifestyle. No, Lenore, you should not be alone and shut yourself from your friends. I decided to speak to her with a sense of humor and aware of a neighbor's bedsheet. She was, at first, wary of myself and eventually accepted my affections. It was also concerning to see her lack of confidence and self-worth. Seeing her care for Leslie had reminded me of my beloved and how she cared for me while I was sick in bed. Those actions had fled to my infatuation. Even to her authoritative tones, she would be a wonderful mother someday. What surprised me the most had been how she protected him by her combat. Such an Amazonian warrior! There are other reasons why I'm attached to Lenore, and the motive is dire. There are enemies on my plane of existence who wish to harm her simply being a pious soul. Specifically, how they have used her parents to torment her, or cause her small misfortunes in her life currently. Although there is a slight glimmer of hope. Her harbor of using her tarot cards to divine their fate allows my messages to come through in the karmic wheel to guide the girl. Bless her for her offering this guidance to her friends. Leslie is in need of it the most. Lenore should have you read this. Please know that your role in the universe is greater than you can imagine. Allow me to be your fairy godfather. You will need my protection since Halloween is approaching. There's nothing to fear of me, darling. I want to hear your songs again. Sincerely yours, Spectre.
Leslie seemed to be astonished and strongly concerned by this comment.
I'm amazed that this ghost has the hearts for yous, but I'm a bit pissed off. Why didn't you tell me that your parents were shitty to you and were pulling these tactics either?
I didn't think it was that big of a deal and felt like I deserved it for not being some perfect little princess. Was the only answer I could give to his question.
No, look at me, Bella.
He said softly, placing his hands upon my shoulders. I bravely looked into his amber eyes and said, "Yes?"
You're not some stereotypical pink princess they want you to be. No, you're the pastel goth queen,
he said with a warm smile. I flushed pink and said, "I am?"
You rule like a queen in the apartment, and ordering me to stay here, and you're protecting me like one too. The princess is a dime a dozen, Bella. You are a rare queen, so whack anyone in your way with that scepter.
I could not help but smile while a few tears rolled down my face, feeling embarrassed while he cleaned my cheeks with a tissue, then hugged me. "Thank you, Leslie. You are a true friend," I said while sniffling.
You helped me, I helped you.
We got ready for the day and did a little grocery shopping since we both had a day off from work and school. Leslie has a few cute little habits that I have to point out. He likes to bounce toy balls around the aisles while singing old Italian songs, as he thought my diet was considered to be on the strict side, with low sugar and low sodium in the content. He is fond of bubble baths and had selected a toothpaste that had been bubblegum flavored. Leslie is not enthused with a dark bedroom, so I decided to purchase a nightlight that looked like a stained glass Tiffany lamp. It was a surprise to me that we enjoyed the arts and crafts section the most. While we were walking down the frozen food aisle, I heard an old man's voice say, "Quoth the raven, nevermore." The voice caused me to halt in my tracks and look over my shoulder. At the end of the aisle, I saw a rotting skeletal corpse trudging towards me while I was gasping for air. "Lenore, come to me," it called out. I walked backwards being frightened, ready to use a bag full of cans to use as a weapon, but was not aware when I bumped into Leslie.
Hey, Lenny, watch where you're going.
He exclaimed, then paused to see my fearful state.
What's wrong? Is that a pervert I gotta beat up?
Something from The Walking Dead called out to me. "It's right there!" I shouted while pointing to the opposite direction. To my disappointment, relief, and humiliation, the corpse was nowhere to be seen.
Maybe it was those enemies Spectre wrote about?
"It must be so," I said, trying to collect my wits. Turning to a fog door to claim frozen french fries, I saw a message scrawled upon the glass by fingers that read, "Nevermore."
Oh, that ain't funny at all.
He said sternly, then took a moment to remove his phone from a pocket.
I'm calling Ben and telling him what happened.
The phone call had been made and was put on speaker mode. The conversation went like this. Ben answered the phone in a sleepy tone and groaned out,
Hello? What is it? Did you have to call me while I was napping, Les? Hey, Ben. I got a story for you that you will not believe, Toots. Oh, shoot it out.
I began to tell him of the details from meeting Spectre, the activity being done by him at the gas station, and the long letter from this morning, as well as the zombie thing following me. Ben's reaction to the story had led him into a panic, and he shouted,
No. Oh, fuck. This is not good. Game over, man. Do you know what subspecies of ghost that showed up just a few fucking minutes ago?
We both said in unison, "No."
It is a servant of a practitioner of fucking witchcraft.
"You mean someone has a grudge against me?" I asked, being alarmed.
Yes, it could be an ancestral enemy for all we know. I have to move my stuff into Lenore's place. Maybe you can help out with that and her problem? Give me about 20 minutes, and I will make it over there.
We purchased the rest of the groceries and returned to the apartment on foot since it had been about a block away from home. I could barely process the gravity of the situation while chatting with Leslie, and I joked around about it. Why target me? I have not dabbled in the dark arts and found it doubtful that any of my family had been involved with that sort of thing, but who knows? There is hardly any tangible evidence at this point, so I could not have a solid conclusion to either believe or be skeptical. Should I feel honored that I am good enough for an evil force to find me to be a threat? After we had put the groceries away, I had allowed Ben to enter after he knocked on the door. He brought with him an old leather-bound book with aged yellow papers and said that there is evidence to share, but we decided to review the contents after moving Leslie's property into my home. Since Bruce had been temporarily incarcerated into a group holding cell for 3 days, it was the perfect opportunity for us to do this task without a confrontation. Once we had moved his clothes and twin bed inside, Leslie had done a dance and skipped about with joy.
Yayness! I missed my bed. No offense, Lenore.
None taken. I like this space back anyway. I said, chuckling, and waved a hand at him.
I am going to be blunt and say that I am pissed at you, too. You should not keep abuse a secret at all. I should know since I went through foster care. Don't do it again, Missy.
Ben scolded and tapped my forehead with a pointer finger. Yes, sir, I said, being ashamed.
But the info I got will help you out. Take a look at this,
he said, and placed an old book on the coffee table. Weighted displays stunned us, and finding time to process this compelling data. He pointed to a sketch of a zombie upon a page and said,
This is a servant to a person who practices necromancy, a dangerous art. The person sacrifices all that they are to become a monster of the dead. Their souls are in the state of unrest, and the servant called out to you to free it, basically.
What could I do to free it? I asked.
By your heart, Lenore. Your will is powerful enough to shut down the enchantment. The person is targeting you for a reason, and these things feed on anyone who is truly good.
He explained, then hugged me.
I'm gonna show you how to fight back as much as you are a badass in the ordinary way.
I would appreciate that, Ben. I'm still processing this as real, I said with a sheepish grin.
Your name is French for light. That is another reason why they're targeting you. Wait. Her name is not some spooky character? Well, yes, the name has some history to it. Oh, la-di-da, don't blame me for not being nerdy. Lenore, shed some light with that oracle talent of yours.
Okay, I will try, I said, taking my tarot deck and shuffling the cards. I became lost in my task while random images emerged in my head and compulsively removed 3 cards. Leslie received the Lovers, Ben received the Hermit, and mine had been the Fool card.
What do those mean? Well, I like mine so far.
It is all about love and following your heart. It often shows up when you have to make decisions between people or any kind of issue in your love life, establishing your bond and knowing your priorities, I explained.
Well, that really doesn't describe what's going on with you, Les. I still love Bruce and all. Just finding it hard to get over him, you know?
Leslie admitted ruefully. The dark-haired boy blushed lightly and said,
Well, Lenore and I can help you with that. Anyway, the Hermit looks cool.
It is about being a teacher or finding one. Taking the time out to find new information while being alone, I explained.
No, that one describes you to a T. Oh, what about the Fool?
Leslie inquired, being curious. It is about showing potential, taking on a new journey to learn new things, following your dreams, but warning against being naive or being misled, I said.
You can be a fool by not saying what is bothering you out loud. Ease off her, Les. She learned her lesson,
Ben said in my defense. He sighed, rolled his eyes, and said,
Fine. I just worry about her, you know?
Once the decision had passed, we decided to watch a horror movie together. I did not see myself as these final girls, yet I seemed to become one without my consent. As embarrassing as it sounds, I fell asleep on Leslie's chest and recalled being held by him.